Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Every Samoan Anoa'i family stable and tag team ranked worst to best. thesports.com/every-Samoan-Anoa'i-family-stable-tag-team-ranked-woo-bloodline-usos. The Anoa'i family has roots that run deep in professional wrestling. Over the course of decades, there have been numerous dominant names in the family that have done tremendous things. From being WWE champions to WWE tag team champions, there has been no shortage of power. The Bloodline have established themselves as the greatest faction in WWE. And while it looks like there will be a Bloodline vs. Bloodline match on the horizon, let's take a look at the history of Anoa'i family factions in the WWE. While the most famous aspect involving these two cousins was I Did It for The Rock, the Great One and Rikishi combined forces on several occasions during the Attitude Era. They teamed up against the likes of Kane, Kurt Angle, Triple H, and The Big Show. With The Rock always on to bigger and better things, there was little chance he was ever going to stay part of any tag team, which is why this one and any others were short-lived. Tamina is a cousin by choice and Naomi is a cousin through marriage. Together, both ladies were part of Team Bad along with the then new to the roster Sasha Banks. They all started coming together against the Bellas, who had outnumbered the rest of the field. As the Divas revolution gained traction, the team would split in favor of Banks opting for the singles route, and drafts separated the cousins. If you were ever wondering where the wise man, Paul Heyman, fits in with the history of the Anoa'is, that rich history started backstage. As a kid, Heyman would pick all the knowledge he could out of the wild Samoans. Several years later, he would show up in both the AWA and WCW with his own duo of Samoans, the SST, Samoan SWAT team. Samu and Fatu ran through all sorts of teams in both promotions and later in ECW as the Samoan Gangster Party, along with Matty Smalls, Matt Anoa'i. In between those stints, they arrived in WWE for their most popular incarnation, the Head Shrinkers. In WWE, they were able to capture the WWE Tag Team titles. The Head Shrinkers followed most in the footsteps of the Wild Samoans, being savages who ate raw meat and opponents' head hurting thanks to devastating headbutts. If you reached this point in the article, and it's taken you 3 minutes to read it, look around you to make sure two badasses aren't lurking to kick yours. Rosie and Jamal, who made a few appearances years earlier during Fatu's return as Eric Bischoff's heavies, annihilating anyone and everyone who was boring the Raw GM. After the team disbanded, they went their separate ways. Rosie would become the superhero in training. Meanwhile, Jamal would become Umaga. In the aftermath of WrestleMania 40, Solo Sikoa was angered by the poor showing of Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns. This led to him leading a coup and overthrowing Roman Reigns as the leader of the group. While it is still the Bloodline, this version is different from the original version of the group. It has been far more aggressive, and has not been scared of stepping over whoever to get what they want. With the return of Reigns to WWE television, it is clear that this version of the Bloodline is all sickos. It is an all-new Bloodline that has cued away from the past version of itself. Growing up in San Francisco made it easy for Afa and Sika to head to the shows and watch their Uncle Peter go to war with Pat Patterson. But since they weren't smartened up to the business at this time, they legit kept trying to fight with Pat. They eventually became the OG tag team of the Anoa'i family, the Wild Samoans. As the patriarchs of the family, they established a path of dominance that led them to 3 tag team title reigns in the WWE and the template for not just all Anoa'i family members after, but most of the wrestlers hailing from island countries. There have been plenty of twins in wrestling, but none as successful as Jimmy and G, the Usos. They have been able to adapt their gimmick and recreate themselves over the years. They began as white meat babyfaces who headed to the ring with Tamina. Then they painted their faces up and danced a hookup before heading into battle. Over the years, Jimmy and Jay have had classic matches against just about every other team on the roster. They eventually morphed their characters into running the Uso Penitentiary and completely aligned with the rest of their family. And while they are now broken up, their legacy can never be erased. During the course of Roman Reigns' much-maligned babyface run, whenever his cousins, Jimmy and Jay, would come to help him out, the Bloodline name was bantered about. But once Roman became the tribal chief, the Bloodline as a faction started to take shape. First, he defeated G in an I Quit Hell in the Cell match to help convince his cousin that his way was the right way. Once Jimmy came back from an injury, he too needed some convincing, but ultimately decided family over everything isn't just a Facebook meme. Just as decades earlier, Paul Heyman has lent his knowledge to the Anoli family as the Bloodline's wise man. Toss in Stage 5 Klinger Sami Zayn and the youngest Uso, Solo Sikoa, and this version of the Bloodline can't be thought of anything else as one of, if not the most dominant stable in WWE history. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe.